Oh, what a lovely day for some mining. Wait, what is that? Oh, what the fuck? So how did we get from a relaxing game about farming to big man go? Well, I'll tell you later, because I've got plenty of other cool stuff to show you first. Okay, so previously when you loaded into or started a new world, you'd just be presented with a black screen, a void, a soul-sucking void. But the void is not a planned feature of my game, so I wanted to change that. I took a little screenshot and here it is. I found a little loading spinner thing and just plonked it in front of you. But the issue was that everything was being loaded in one frame, so the spinner just wasn't spinning. To fix this, I split the loading logic out across multiple frames. Doing this was pretty simple. I just used IE numerables, which is a special type of list that only returns one item at a time, instead of all at once. This ultimately allows me to display the loading progress to the player. For now, it just shows the spinny boy, but in the future I want to add a proper progress bar. Next, water. My water had lots of problems, mainly lighting, where the colour of the water didn't really match the colour of the sky, and at night it just looked bloody horrific. Luckily around this time I noticed that Unity had an asset bundle going with a little asset called Crest in it, and as such had a good chunk of money off of it.
Yeah, there it is! Can I take it out? Just have a little look at it.
Naturally, I assumed this was some sort of divine intervention, so what actually is Crest then? It's a kind of open source water solution for Unity. I say kind of because it's open source for the standard Unity renderer, but for the universal render pipeline you have to pay. One of the really cool things about Crest is that it supports Gerstner waves, which is an algorithm for simulating realistic ocean waves. You can see them in action here. I'll just change some values and show how it goes. I probably won't be using them though, as it doesn't really fit with my design for Sundermead, but it's there if I ever change my mind. Okay, look, I'll talk about the boss in a second. I just want to shove one more other thing in your face first. So I'd started uploading small clips of each of my devlogs to TikTok, and one person asked a very good question.
Why does she look like she's gonna be nicely people?
I hadn't really noticed it before, but now I can't not see it. So I made a change that makes them look a tad less murdery. I've given them a little blinking effect. Speaking of eyes, another change I made was to how light reflects off the eyes. So previously they were just kind of flat, and as the light got moved around, this is how it would react with the eyes, and it just does not look right, does it? So I found a little spherical normal map, and I applied it to the eyes using a little mask, and now this is what they look like, and I think it looks a lot better. You can see, the light reflects off of it like it's an actual eyeball. I think it looks a hell of a lot better, really. Okay, on to the boss. This big fella right here is the first of 3 bosses I'll be making for Sundermead, although I won't go into what the others are right now. As you can see, he's called a corrupted dwarf and will spawn at level 30 of the mines. This is because in the lore of Sundermead, dwarves can be corrupted by an item called life essence. Basically, it's like a drug to them. They become addicted to it and it takes over all logic and reason they once had. I know this isn't really accurate to the proper Anglo-Saxon stories, but I had to make some creative liberties, as is the nature of this kind of work. There's much more to him than just his name though, so if you want to find out who he is and what he's doing so far down the mines, you'll have to stick around and play the game when it comes out. Since this game can be played alone or with friends, his health will scale accordingly and no one will be able to get past level 30 of the mines until he's been defeated. After defeating him, you'll get some powerful items out of this chest here. Quick side note, this chest was modelled by a good friend of mine who's learning Blender, and I think he did a pretty good job for one of his first models. Anyway, old big boy here has 3 attacks: a standard swing, a jump attack, and I think he's absolutely through the roof. Sorry. And an attack that combines the two. The jump attacks throw out damage in a large circle around him, so you'll have to keep your distance when fighting him. After finishing my boss, I decided to completely redesign my website. I spent about a week updating it from this piece of crap. to this beautiful new site. I think it really captures the essence of Sundermead. I've got a new blog system which I'll update once every few months, and a new media page with a bunch of screenshots, and a press kit, just to make myself feel extra professional. Oh, and there's a great big wishlist now button, so go on, go wishlist it. You done it? Good. Now for this update's NPC. He's a carpenter and is called Leofridge, after the best character from The Last Kingdom. Monofraud, the guy making music for Sundermead, has released another track. It's called Golden Fields, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I'll have it playing in the background of the rest of the video, but I'd seriously recommend you go and listen to it on his channel. You'll remember Farman, right? He was the first NPC I made for this game. Well, Leofridge is his brother, and in the past, they had a bit of a dispute and don't really see eye to eye anymore. Just know that his questline ends with Farman asking you to build a tavern for your community, so that way you can go for a proper piss up with a lads. Next, I finished up the second to last skill tree, which is fishing. At level 1, you'll get simple bait, which I'll go through how the bait works in a second. Level 2, you increase your reel-in speed. Level 3, 10% chance that bait can be reused, because prior to that it can only be used once. Fish strength reduced by 10%, making it slightly easier to fish. Then after that you have the skill pick, so 20% more health from a fish or 30% more stamina. Level 6 is kippers, which is a little recipe you can make from fish. At level 7 you can start catching level 2 fish, which are much harder but yield greater results and greater health and stamina. Level 8 will decrease the fish strength even more. Level 9 will give you improved bait, which is essentially the same as simple bait, but it works on these level 2 fish. And at level 10 you have another skill pick with a 25% chance that bait can be reused and reduce fish strength further by another 10%. So I'll just quickly go through how bait works. Alright, so we're here in Sundermead. You can see I have 11 goblin flesh, and if I go into crafting, you can see I can craft basic bait with 2 goblin flesh. So if I just craft a few of those, and now I have my bait here. So you can see it comes up with a little text saying right click to apply bait to fishing rod. It's as simple as right clicking. Then it will tell you level 1 bait is already on your fishing rod, and you can right click to replace it. So now if I go fishing, I cast out. What will happen is with this bait, it means that there's a higher chance of catching a fish in a smaller amount of time. Essentially meaning you don't have to wait as long for the little exclamation mark to pop up.
Few moments later.
Oh, there we go. And I've caught myself a little sturgeon. Alright, so my testers and I are currently going through a bit of a debate. The sleeping system works very similarly to how Stardew Valley's system works, where you have to be in bed asleep by about 2 AM, else you'll pass out where you stand. The debate is whether this system should exist at all. My argument for it is that it allows you to progressively gain more access to the world as you unlock things like the sleeping bag and, in time, a mount and the fast travel character. The argument against it is that it can interrupt the player's flow, and will also soft block most of the exploration until you've leveled up, possibly causing frustration. Another consideration is performance. The current system allows me to do lots of heavy lifting while the player goes to sleep. So I was just wondering, what's everyone's view on this? Let me know in the comments if you like the current system or would prefer a system that doesn't force the player to sleep. I do also have some testing keys still available, so if anyone wants to test the game and weigh their own input and feedback in, that would be great. And just to start rounding the video off, I've considered starting up a Patreon, but I'm not really sure what sort of rewards I should give and whether anyone would even be interested in paying me. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. And as always, I have a Discord server and a Steam page, as I'm sure you've gathered by now. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where I'll have completely overhauled the user interface for Sundermead. See ya!